What's up, Star Trek fans? It's Star Trek Late Night, and we just had the. I really did not want to watch any more Strange New Worlds, but I found a I paid for Paramount Plus at this time, but I've been watching the shows on like a separate thing, so I don't give Paramount any credit because I don't want them to think that this stuff is good, if that makes any sense. But anyway, the last episode was not great. It was terrible. This season has been terrible. Just to recap, episode 1 was probably the best episode. Everything else was really cringy. This episode does have problems with that same stuff, but this, I gotta tell you, is probably the best episode of the season. I believe this to be the best episode of the season so far. So we got this newbie ensign eager to go away on an away mission. Right away, I started thinking, what's going to happen to him? It's going to be bad. We get this stupid love relationship that everybody's got a love relationship. This could not be going on and things would be a lot better. There's a million love triangles. It's not Star Trek. It's annoying. I hate it. Whatever. Mbenga is likable even though he's a murderer. And that's ridiculous. If they had just not done that, I would really like Mbenga. If they just gotten rid of the trauma, I murder people in Starfleet, that would have been better. This is weird right here. A lot of comedy, a little too much comedy again, kind of like, are we watching the Orville? Again, the love drama continues. Spock is treated kind of like an idiot, like, oh, we gotta be careful with Spock because he could go crazy. Spock is treated like an infant idiot, so that's not good. But like the opening is still pretty decent. A little bit of comedy here again, kind of Orville-like, but I'll take it. They're gonna go down this planet. I'm not gonna break down everything about the episode. You saw the episode, but what I did notice is when they were all convening to talk. I know that there's this short film being shot. Pelia is so cringy. If that's even her name, I don't even remember. The Carol Kane's character is such a cringy annoyance. Everybody talks bad to Spike, to Pike. Craps. Oh, I thought we were watching Buffy and Angel, so I said Spike. Everybody talks crap. I think Pike says like one thing here. He tries to say something, and the engineer, what's her face, Carol Kane, just shushes him up. He's the captain. But she just shushes him up, like, oh, be quiet, Captain. He literally gets cut off while he's talking here. He's the captain, but gets cut off while he's talking here. So again, major problems with that, with how they're portrayed here. So it's not going great for me at this point. And I'm thinking I might turn this off, but like, I don't know. It's also been half good and half bad, but let's keep watching. And then we get to this alien planet where they think they've found some archaeological discovery. They have this like local alien guy, tour guide type of thing. I'm not going to break it all down for you. Once again, Uhura can do everything. It's so weird how like, it's just weird that Uhura and all these people can do so many different things and save the ship every time, but not the captain. So she's got her love interest. That's annoying because another love interest. Why does everybody have a love interest? This is Star Trek, not... I don't know, whatever. The intro happens. So they go into this place. The Spike comes down and pokes her for her blood. How many people, I'm assuming, I've heard people complain about this, but in my head canon, the Spike goes up and it gets like, desanitized or whatever. It's not like it just keeps coming down and gives you a disease or something like that. So, like, I don't even know why that's the thing. There we go. So, sorry, my YouTube channel is playing in the background. It's literally playing other people reviewing the show. I'll have to check out the other reviews of the show. So I like these outfits, by the way. Awesome outfits. They go into this really cool thing. This episode is kind of like a mix of like Indiana Jones 3, the movie Cube a little bit, like the movie Cube, and a couple of former Star Trek episodes, including TNG. So I like this area. I like this setup. I like this sci-fi. They don't know exactly what this is for yet. I like that they find out that it's actually like a prison for evil people or other aliens from this world. I still don't fully understand. But I really like even if they got some of the science wrong and some of the things wrong a little bit, I like that they got into some science, some like alternate universes and realities existing at once, and that spatial relations type of stuff. They actually did do that. It's the first time really in this Star Trek season. And so I really liked this. I wish we found out more about this place and about maybe a little bit more about these aliens and stuff. It sounds like they're saving some of this for later. This is kind of like that episode when in Star Trek: The Next Generation a little bit, where those ghosts on the prison planet that are locked up inhabit the crew members, and they're trying to free everybody from the jail. I don't know if it's like the ghost jail or whatever it is. I forget the name of the episode in The Next Generation, but it's kind of like that. So, and I don't know if this is a callback to that. I didn't even look at where they were in the destination, but so it's a little bit of like a lot of things borrowed here on this episode, but I don't mind if you borrow some similar things to try to tell a different version of that in a new way or whatever. It sometimes does feel like you took like 6 ideas, told AI to now make a new story surrounding all this and then go do it. But, whatever. I'll take it. This is definitely the best episode of Strange New Worlds this season. This dude loses his eyes and they're regrowing his eyes. I don't understand that. Geordi doesn't have eyes in Star Trek: The Next Generation. In my headcanon, I basically just pretend that Geordi was born with something that was completely deficient of the ability to, adapt his eyes, and he never wanted to. He used the visor and never wanted to get the implants. It's even referenced in The Next Generation. Soren says, "Have you ever thought about a prosthesis that could make you look a little more normal?" And so indicating that that Geordi could just get his eyes completely fixed. But it almost assumed in a way that Geordi was a very complicated situation with his blindness, and on top of that, he got used to the visor as a child or something, and just prefers to see the way he sees now. But I mean, that's a little contradicted in Insurrection, but I don't know. I don't know. So there's a little bit of a continuity thing with eyes, regrowing eyes here. So, I think they went a little too far with, we can just regrow your eyes right now. They could have said, well, we're trying to regenerate the nerves and stuff like that so that we could potentially in the future put some implants in. We don't want him to lose any sensory there. Otherwise, we're going to have to rebuild the nerves and veins and the ocular, whatever the frig. So they could have gone a little further to try to like cover up that this is a little convoluted in regrowing the eyes, but I'll let it pass because whatever. It's not, that's not the end of the world, but I think everybody kind of looked at each other like, well, what? But anyway, I liked most of this stuff. Creepy stuff with him. Basically, this guy's like dead already, but he's like pretending that the entity is pretending, using his his memories and everything, that it's copied onto itself, but he's brain dead essentially because he's really not there anymore. And Mbenga doesn't realize that yet. He knows something's wrong, but he doesn't understand. There's a bunch of other things that I wanted to get to that I probably forgot now that I'm not going to mention now because I'm going to forget it. And I'd probably have to watch this again to remember those things. Like, there were a little continuities. Like, there was a point where they all had to cross the bridge at one point, and they didn't know if the bridge was going to be there. And I was like, well, why don't you just put one foot out and step down and see if it's there? Why don't you throw something out there and see if it's there? Why was it like, oh my God, we're going to walk, and if it's not there, we're going to die? And it was like they walked slowly anyway, so why were they sitting there like, we either walk across this bridge and it's there, or it's not and we're dead? Like, it was like that's what they were acting like, and it was like, this is... So there's still some problems with the writing. You know what I mean? Like, there's still issues with like infantile writing. Funny, they treat Spock like an infant. They even treat the captain sometimes like an infant idiot as well. But the writers themselves sometimes are infantile or infants in some of this writing. But some of this is really good. Like, this story, again, like every episode, it's so weird. Every episode, it's like there's this core of like, that's pretty good, but then like it's destroyed by so many other things. This episode is less like that. I would say 75% of this episode, for the most part, is really pretty good. It's just that little 25% that irritates the hell out of me and ruins it a little bit. But this is the best episode of the season. Instead of being 50-50 like most of the other episodes, where it's like 50% of this is okay, and then 50% of this is a nightmare, I can't watch this. So this episode finally passes. I would give this episode, I think, like a thumbs up, like a slight, like, I guess it's a thumbs up. You know, and that's the first one of the whole season. I think the first episode maybe gets a little bit of love. Like, I'd say the first episode of the season was maybe a 5.5 or a 6 out of 10. I'd give this maybe a 6.5. So, like, this is the best episode of the season. They've all been really bad. Like, this is the worst season of the show. But this is probably top 5 best episode of the show. So, I mean, if you could just do more of this, but we're already into the show. And this is also the problem when you have like 10 episode seasons, right? Like the first season of The Next Generation is not very good. The second season of The Next Generation is not very good, but has some really good episodes. First season has some really good episodes too. And you think about that, and you realize, well, that's like 30 episodes right there. Well, this show still only has about 30 episodes. So this is only the first. We've only completely watched the first season of The Next Generation, which The Next Generation's first season has, 5, 6, 7 episodes that are okay. So again, this probably has 5 episodes that are okay, maybe. So, you know what I mean? Like, this is the problem with 10 episode seasons. But also, my problem with the show isn't necessarily when the episodes aren't that good. It's the fundamentals of the show. That's why I can't really like it that much. It's the fundamentals. It's the infantile treatment of Spock, the infantile writing. It's the way that they speak lingo, like right now. Whereas in Star Trek, they're supposed to speak a little more stoic, so that, you know what I mean, it doesn't feel like a time period or an era. That's why Wesley Crusher isn't like, man, this is so like gnarly up here. It's a gnarly spaceship. He doesn't say that. No one ever says gnarly on Star Trek The Next Generation. But like, that was a word they were using, like gnarly. I mean, cool is, I think cool is maybe used. I don't know. I don't remember. I'm trying to think now. Did they ever say cool on Star Trek The Next Generation? If anybody said cool, it was Wesley. But I don't think so. I think he used words like neat. He might have said cool, though. I'm not sure. Like that, but I feel like instead of cool, they used the word neat. Like, well, that's really interesting, or that's neat. Like, it was very passive, blah language. That way it wouldn't date the show into a time period, although the visuals, unfortunately, for most shows do that anyway. So what you'd say, well, what's the big deal then? But yeah, it's not that big a deal, because I can just be like, well, they're speaking at our time so we can understand it. But like, I know in the future they'd probably have other lingo. That doesn't really matter that much to me. So I get it. But it's the lingo. It's the way they treat Spock. It's the way they treat Pike. It's this underlining wokey thing that they do, where Pike isn't the cool captain, really. He's kind of like, yeah, captain, we don't really listen to you. And Spock is treated like a moron person. So those are my core issues with the show, and until those change, it's hard to look into anything. The way this is resolved is what it is. Of course, Carol Kane is the one that saves everybody again. It's just, again, Mbenga doesn't figure it out. Even nobody else can figure it out. Scotty, nobody. Carol Kane's the hero again. Someone we don't know. Scotty learned everything from Carol Kane's character. Scotty's younger than Captain Kirk. That doesn't make sense. There's just so many problems. But so again, if maybe Scotty had killed him, or maybe Kirk's brother had killed him, and Carol Kane could stop being this wise, amazing super person, because they have to make all the females the super people, and everybody else is like, oh. It's just funny. It's just too funny. But Mbenga's a guy who couldn't do it. Mbenga couldn't figure out that he had to kill him. He only kills other people that are like innocent, like basically. Mbenga couldn't figure out that this guy needed to be killed, but Carol Kane did. And she kind of had a funny moment at the end, which I did kind of like, and I do like the filming aspect of the thing, I guess, a little bit. We really didn't need that. We don't need that. Ahura's boyfriend, we don't even need him there. He doesn't need to be there. So this is still not great, but the best episode, I would say, of Strange New Worlds of the season, because it was the most anchored in a sci-fi Star Trek type of scenario. I got the creeps kind of watching that multi-dimensional plane of existence happen. And I think it was a little too short. I wish there was a little more to the show. I think if there was more to it and more in depth and it got a little more like scary and weird, I would have appreciated that. I would have given it an extra point maybe. And of course, if they got rid of all the stuff that I mentioned previously that I won't repeat over and over again, I'd probably give the show another point or two, in which case this might have drawn a 8 or 9 for me. But I can't do that with all these issues to me. But yeah, this is the best episode of the season. And my only thumbs up, my only curious thumbs up is this episode. The writing is pretty good, and then also there's some really bad writing in it, but it's like I'll take the good over the bad. All the actors and actresses are really pretty good. I really like all the actors and actresses on the show. I like the way they shoot it. I think the show is shot well. I think the look of it is great. I like everything else. It's just the writing. It feels like it's written by moron Buffy the Vampire Slayer drama Glee Club students who don't know things. But this is the first episode where it felt like someone was trying to think about something. But coincidentally, it has the DNA of multiple other episodes that we've seen before from Star Trek The Next Generation. So that's what makes me worried that some writer sat down and was like, well, I've written a couple other things. Well, let's just, let me just take these episodes and throw them into the, hey, mix them up and make something, and then rewrite that again, and then they came up with this episode. I don't know. Because they almost don't feel like they're even capable of delivering this, a 6 out of 10 episode. But that's good. I watched this, and I even my wife ended up sitting and watching it with me a little bit, and she normally says, turn this off, turn this off, turn this off, turn this off. That's usually what she says. She's like, turn this new shit. I hate the new Star Trek. Turn the new Star Trek off. And we put on Voyager or the Next Generation or Enterprise or Deep Space Nine or whatever, something else. But there you go. That's my opinion. That's my take on this. What do you guys think? Leave it in the comments down below. This season is the worst season of the show so far. I can't believe we're going to get puppets or Muppets or whatever. What a joke. This is Star Trek Late Night. If you guys want to support me, please do it down below. Super thanks, super chat, super thanks, I guess. Leave a comment. You guys can also, send me support in any other way you want. You don't have to, but if you want to, feel free to send me the support. Give me your opinions on the show. What did you think of it if you watched it? If you didn't watch it, what do you think about what I said about it? I could go way more in depth on it, but I got to get out of here. I may actually do another video on it, kind of talking about it some more, because it's the most probably interesting episode to me of the season so far, because it's not enraging. So that's how I feel. Anyway, you guys want to support the channel, Cash App, Venmo, whatever, directly send me money. Super thanks, super chat down below, rather. Whatever it is, I don't know. This is Star Trek Late Night. Hope you subscribe and leave me ideas for other Star Trek videos. I might follow them and listen to them and do them, so feel free to do that. Here's some other videos popping up from me that you may have missed on this channel.